Welcome back to Pipes Etc. Glad you could stop by. Today I want to discuss a brand of blends that I enjoy, but it seems that maybe not many others do. I say that because I rarely see them getting as much attention as, say, Cornell and Deal, GLPs, Mac Baren, or even as much as any of the Codger blends. That brand being Drucquer and Sons. These blends are brought to us by Greg Pease and are blended at Cornell and Deal, so you think they get a higher profile. And as far as I can tell, smokingpipes.com is the only place that they can be purchased. As many of you may know, Greg Pease started his career in pipe tobacco at the well-respected tobacco shop in Berkeley, California, Drucquer and Sons. This business got its start in 1841 when it was first started in London, England, and in 1928 it was moved to Berkeley, California. Through his old school approach that he applied to these blends, Greg Pease has kept alive the style of pipe tobacco our fathers, grandfathers, and even our great-grandfathers were able to enjoy. Currently, there are 7 blends in the Drucquer and Sons range, and I have a 10 of each, so I can be able to give you a rundown on each of them. All but the Blair Gowrie are in a ribbon cut. Blair Gowrie is a broken flake. So number 1, the one just mentioned, Blair Gowrie, it's a Scottish blend. It contains Latakia, Oriental, Perique, and Virginia. It's a full-flavored but quite smooth blend. I find it to be very satisfying. The rich red Virginia is certainly right there up front, but right behind is the welcome Oriental influence. Now, the Latakia stays in the back until later in the bowl, and the Perique adds just the right amount of its character. I've been enjoying this blend for a few years now, and I can only say great things about it. It's a wonderful example of brilliant blending, each component balanced perfectly. As are the other 6 blends in this range. All of them are very well balanced. Number 2, Inns of Court. It is described as an American blend. It contains Black Cavendish, Burley, Latakia, Perique, and Virginia. A lighter but complex blend with a bit of sweetness from the Black Cavendish. There is a somewhat subtle influence of Latakia here, but it's the Burley that one would notice most. That nutty, molasses-like taste that is somewhat earthy at times. The tangy red and typical bright Virginia flavor, along with the Perique, round out the flavors really nicely. I'm getting more familiar with this blend and have started to appreciate it even more. And I keep it handy as it reminds me of an easy smoking, old school type of blend. Number 3, Levant Mixture. This is no doubt a full-bodied blend with a nice, balanced influence from the Orientals. And again, the rich red and bright Virginias add enough to take the edge off the full-on Latakia boldness. Then you add in the spiciness of the Orientals, and it becomes even more manageable. But leave no doubt, this is a very bold and rich blend. Greg Pease stated that this is a blend of eminent distinction. Yeah, I have to agree. If you have a Latakia itch that can't be satisfied, try this one. Number 4, Prince's Blend. A bit on the lighter side for a Latakia blend that has a nice, sweet flavor from Black Cavendish, along with the flue-cured bright Virginias. Together, they are I'd say the foundation of this flavor profile. Then comes the Burley and the Perique with a pleasant and balanced effect that helps to round out the flavors without being too forward. And since the Latakia isn't front and center, the Burley and Perique influence add just the right amount of character to keep it from being too Virginia forward. Again, a nice balance. This would be an interesting all-day smoke because it has more appeal than many with that distinction, in my opinion. Number 5, Red Lion. This medium-bodied, Virginia-forward Latakia blend also contains Black Cavendish, Burley, Perique, and Bright Virginias. I was smoking this one earlier to get more familiar with it and found it's a bit sweet and has only a slight Latakia influence. And not having any Orientals, the Virginias definitely jump to the front. The Perique and Black Cavendish are detectable, but I didn't really pick up on the Burley. I was hoping to. But maybe it'll show itself better as I progress down the bowl and the next time I try it. Nevertheless, an enjoyable blend if you like a good dose of the grassy, citrusy taste profile of Bright Virginia mixed in with the more conspicuous Red Virginia. All right, number 6, the Devil's Own. Going by the name, one might think this blend would be a real stout Latakia bomb. But it's actually a Virginia-forward Latakia blend that is medium-bodied. It has Black Cavendish, Burley, Latakia, and Virginia. It is a tad sweeter than one might at first expect, but it isn't overly so. The sweetness fits in quite well with the other influences, and it seems to come mostly from the Virginias. The Virginias are, again, the stars here and add their sweet influence, but with some spice and a wee bit of citrus as well. The Black Cavendish isn't very obvious, but I'm sure it was added just to smooth out the blend without adding any real noticeable flavor. The Latakia keeps a low profile, but is noticeable, just enough to keep it interesting. I think what makes the difference here is the rich, nutty Burley that adds the right amount of body. All in all, it is a rather complex blend, even without any Orientals. But at the same time, it is a smooth, savory blend where the sweetness doesn't overwhelm the smoking experience. And lastly, number 7, Trafalgar. This is a blend of Latakia, Orientals, Perique, and Virginia. And it's a bit past the medium-bodied level. To me, this is an excellent blend. It's rich, balanced, and really interesting. Mostly because of the Orientals that enhance the flavor, and I enjoy Orientals. It reminds me of an old-style English blend that we just don't seem to find much of anymore. I'm glad I found this one. I enjoy the tanginess of the Red Virginias, along with some citrusy, grassy notes from the Bright Virginias that this offers. The Latakia takes a step towards the background here. That way, the Orientals don't need to fight for position, and the Virginias really can shine through. I appreciate the balance, complex, smooth blend here. That is, if you take time to explore it, it will keep you interested. So, there are the 7 blends of Drucquer & Sons. If you read the description of these blends and how and which tobaccos were used in each, one might come away with the opinion that, well, they're all too similar. But if you try each and give yourself a chance to explore them thoroughly, I believe you will discover that each has its own little nuance that is worth experiencing. When I look over the Drucquer & Sons range of blends, I can't help but imagine what other brands like Cornell and Deal would be like if they too concentrated their efforts on fewer, more interesting blends instead of all the variations they seem to offer. I believe the Drucquer & Sons blends are very high quality and are rather interesting. Sometimes you don't see that as much. But especially when you can compare it to a number of the products being offered today, that compare-contrast. Well, anyway, that's my 2 cents. Nevertheless, I would recommend them if they are comparable to your current preferences or you're a little adventurous. Take it for what it's worth. Well, that's all for this 20th episode of Pipes, Etc. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope you will again. And until then, good day. Now off to play some golf.